What's in the bag, son? Welcome back to another video where I basically talk about everything that I picked up this previous month, and I put them in a good old tote bag I got locally, and I basically talk about them a little bit. Again, like last month, there are 9 titles that I won't be talking about because they are part of my 31 Days of Horror reviews, and I'm going to be talking about those 31 titles in October, and 9 titles that I bought this month are part of that. So I'll be talking about them then, but I will be talking about everything that I picked up otherwise. Now, there are, I'd say mostly, a lot of blind buys. Probably not mostly blind buys. Mostly used stuff, definitely. I think I got like 10 titles from Amazon, but I did a good used haul, so I was able to pick up some good cheap stuff. Cheap priced, not cheap quality. Well, depends what depends what I'm talking about, but I'll start off with a pile and we will go from there. So I did happen to get, I got both of them, but this is Dead Again in Tombstone, and the other Dead in Tombstone is somewhere in there. But I bought them both, and I'm looking to be doing a B-movie banter review on both. Maybe a double feature, maybe one at a time, I'm not quite sure yet. Haven't seen this one at all, and I've seen parts of the first one a long time ago, and it looked pretty cool. I love Danny Trejo, and I love any kind of grindhouse slash western style kind of B-movie that he goes for. I like that that style of film that he tends to do. So I'm going to be doing a review at some point of both of them. I picked up The Haunting in Connecticut, the first one on Blu-ray. I love this film. I have seen this one before. It's a great supernatural, kind of faithful take on the horror genre. A little bit Conjuring style, obviously nowhere near as good, but it's underappreciated, and it's not talked about a whole lot, especially in a positive light. So I do recommend that one to check it out anyway if you like your supernatural haunting kind of movies. And I have the second one, which is funny because I bought the second one blind because I had never seen it when I didn't own this one yet. So now I have both. I got Wes Craven's New Nightmare on DVD because I don't really want to buy the Blu-ray combo of all of them, because there's not a lot, there's a few in the franchise that I don't like at all, and I just don't see it worth buying them all. The first one's my favorite, of course I own that on Blu-ray, and the rest of the ones that I do like, I just buy on DVD, basically. Oh my gosh. Here's another second movie, which I also ended up picking the first. I should just go find the first. Or maybe I shouldn't do what's in the bag, so I should just dump the bag at the beginning of the video. I'll do that next time. How's that? Crocodile Dundee and Crocodile Dundee Part 2. Now, if you want a non-politically correct good time, check these out, especially the first one. For anybody who's seen it, you know there's a bar scene, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's absolutely hilarious. I love this kind of comedy that they just don't make anymore. I love this the feel like of the 80s that these movies had, and it's all in good fun. Like, if you know, it's comedy, and that's what comedy is supposed to do. So if you know, if you hate that kind of shit, then just don't watch the movies. Heed my warning. But if you find it hilarious and just downright funny, then like I do, because it's comedy, that's what it's supposed to be, a joke, then check it out. I loved it. I love them both. First one better, and I'm looking for Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles to complete the trilogy. Survival of the Dead is a film that I watched a long time ago. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of zombie films. Love George A. Romero, and this is his final of the Dead film, and out of the 6, and this is the least good in my opinion. I will rewatch Diary of the Living Dead, or Diary of the Dead, Jesus, Diary of the Dead, before I say that this is my least favorite, but so far it definitely is. I didn't like it at all when I first watched it, but I rewatched it after buying it now, and I will say my second watch was better than my first. It's still kind of just, it's the CGI in this film. I just can't stand the CGI. It's a CGI fest. And a zombie movie of George A. Romero's caliber just shouldn't be a CGI fest. And I don't know. It just it takes me too much out of the film, kind of thing. But the story's decent enough. This is a blind buy. Saw the trailer. I found it for cheap, so I bought it. So this is going to be my first time watching. No spoilers. Jack Goes Home. This has Lynn Shay. This has a huge cast. Jesus. Rory Culkin is the star. And then you got Lynn Shay in here. Davey Chase from The Ring, the little girl from The Ring. Super hot today, by the way. Lewis Hunter. You got Nikki Reed from 13. And Britt Robertson. I'm not sure who she is. But, yeah, the trailer looks creepy. Looks promising, so... 2 blind buys coming up. This is a blind buy. The Angriest Man in Brooklyn. I saw a clip on YouTube. I just somehow randomly came across it. And then I looked the film up, and it was one of Robin Williams' last performances. And the film was not praised very much by critics or liked. And the thing about this clip that I saw is that it made the film seem like a complete sad movie, like really dramatic and heartfelt. And that made me more curious because it is one of Robin Williams' last films. But this cover makes it look like kind of like an indie comedy or something, like what you get from the back here. So I'm really curious to see what it's like and make my own opinion on the film, because I know nothing about it, and except for that clip, and I kept it that way. Like, I haven't even read the back of this. I won't even read the back. I just want to dive into it and judge it for myself. Maybe even make a review. Who knows? Or just get rid of it if I don't like it. Something I also don't. I know like a basic gist about, but I'm going into it blind again. You Kill Me. Love the 2 actors actually, and basically it's about a recovering alcoholic hitman. Something along those lines. So that's up my alley. Just seems like something fun and bonkers, and apparently it is a black comedy from John Dahl, who I'm not too familiar with, but black comedies are my thing, so we shall see. One of my childhood favorites, which I already reviewed on the channel, it's on there, go find it, Small Soldiers, had to have that on Blu-ray. Girls, Guns, and G-Strings. So anybody who is familiar with the name Andy Sidaris, he is a director from the 80s, and he specialized in action films. And his preferred action style was basically films that are extremely cheesy in the action type, but Baywatch style, as if Baywatch was like an action kind of jungle James Bond beachy kind of setting with explosions and helicopters and tons of guns and ridiculous set pieces and settings and stupid dialogue and stupid sex and tits everywhere with you know, blonde babes in bikinis all over the place. It's basically like all his movies are essentially the same, just in different locations, kind of thing, with different twists and turns of plot going on. But if you've seen any of them, which I have seen some of them, I have no reviews for them, but I have and own Savage Beach, Malibu Express. I've seen Picasso Trigger, but I do not own it. I would buy it. I love it. And I think, yeah, I own Malibu Express and Savage Beach. That's it. Thought I owned more. Well, now I own all 12. So I've watched 3 and liked all 3 for what they were. They're a blast, and I can only imagine how good the other ones are. Children of the Corn Revelations. This is the 7th of the franchise. I'm collecting them so I can review them. So, hint hint, expect a full review of all the Children of the Corn films individually. That's the 7th one. Apparently 2 and 7 are the only ones that are not on Blu-ray. 2 is apparently hard to find, although I did find it, and I don't know how hard this one is to find, but I found it for cheap. 2, I think, was like 20 bucks or something that I paid for it. And I had to actually import it. as a foreign release. A Cure for Wellness is a very interesting horror film, obviously. Well, not obviously. Cure for Wellness kind of doesn't really look like a horror film, does it, from the cover? I don't know. It's directed by, this is what makes it interesting, Gore Verbinski, who directed the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. Now, this is dark. Like, not that Pirates wasn't dark for kind of a Disney kids film, but there's scenes in here. There's one in particular, without spoiling anything, although if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about because it is the hardest scene to watch. It involves this film kind of revolves around a mental asylum, and it involves, there's people in there that don't belong in there and get stuck in there kind of thing, and there's one, you know, operation kind of thing that's going on with somebody while they're awake, some kind of, you know what I mean. I'll leave it at that. It's a 2.5-hour film too, which a lot of people get thrown off by that, and a lot of people actually have avoided it in the horror community, or just fans of horror in general, because of its runtime. But if you have the patience to sit through it, it's something really unique. And if you want to see a vision from, you know, a director who directed a Disney trilogy, it's really interesting to watch. So I highly recommend it just for that. I don't like every James Bond film, but I have been buying some of them that I do like and that I haven't watched in forever. So The World Is Not Enough is one that I have not watched in forever. And there's a few here and there that I can remember and that I'll think of the top of my head that I used to love, and I'm kind of just finding them on Blu-ray. There's the Tombstone that I was talking about earlier. But yeah, I picked up 2 Bond films this month, actually. Goldfinger and Skyfall remain my 2 favorites. Children of the Corn 1, again, there's going to be a review coming of that. And I really don't like the way Arrow Video started with the blue cases now, instead of the white cases that they had before. Not a big fan of that, but it is what it is. They still pull out the bomb special features, so it'll be nice to visit all that. We've got another movie where Jean-Claude Van Damme plays a cyborg. It's called Cyborg, or half cyborg, I should say. He's famous for that, but it's a lot of fun. I checked this out streaming once, and I absolutely loved it. I love anything Jean-Claude and Dolph Lundgren, basically. I'm kind of getting into that kick where I want to go find their old films and watch them wherever I can, whether I find them cheap to buy or something like that. I don't know if I'll do like an entire review series of like their entire careers. I think I wouldn't have the patience for that, but we'll see. Hey, stranger things have happened. I bought Feast 2, which now officially completes my collection. It actually was surprising how long it took. I didn't want to buy the 3 at once, because I just wanted to find the 3 separate DVDs whenever I could, kind of thing. But I thought I would be able to do it faster than I could, but now I got 2 and I already have 1 and 3, so hint hint, might be another review series coming. Another Bond film, GoldenEye. I actually watched it today, funny enough, and it was the best experience I've had with it, because the last time I watched it I was a teen, and a lot of Bond films I actually was a teen since I watched, but one of them that I picked up a few months back was Moonraker, because I just remembered it being one of the only ones that he like takes place in space, and I'm like, how could a Bond film like that go? Like, I remembered seeing it, but I don't remember the details, obviously. But I bought that, and now own it and love it. Blind Buy, Mirrors. I saw the trailer in another movie that I was watching once, and saw that it was directed by Alexandra Aja, or Alexandra Aja, however you want to pronounce it. Aja, Aja, I don't know. And he's awesome, so that was sold to me right away. Found it, and we'll see how it is. I was gonna make it a 31 Days of Horror, but I was already packed up with 31 films, so they're all set, by the way. They're all ready to go. This is a childhood favorite of mine. even before Small Soldiers, because this is an actual animated kids film. And this is Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero. This is actually something that I wouldn't typically buy, but because I found this film, haven't seen it since I was probably 8 years old, and was on Blu-ray, I thought, you know what? This is kind of something I can't turn up, because this is going to be one hell of an amazing nostalgic experience. I don't even like I'm not really into animated superhero cartoons very much anymore. I haven't been in years. But for some reason, and I have read up on this one actually did very good for the whole bunch that they have out. And I just remember this one sticking out so much, because this is one that I would rent multiple times and rewatch 2, 3, 4 times in the 2-3 day span that I had it when I was a kid. And I just remember it sticking. So because I haven't watched it in over 28 years now, 28, I'm not that old, Jesus, over 20 years now, yeah, it should be an experience and a half. Another double feature, guys. Classic Poltergeist in this beautiful digi book, and I can't even speak. I have seen this one, and then we got Poltergeist 2, which I have not seen. Blind Buy, I'm very curious to check it out. I'll double feature them, obviously, and maybe I'll talk about both together or separate. We shall see. I don't know. I don't know if I want to review Poltergeist 1 and 2. I don't have 3, so I'll have to think about that, but I'm excited to check out Poltergeist 2 for the first time. This is a really interesting film, okay? I discovered this, it came out in 2013, I'm going to say. I can't really find it. 2013, there you go, I nailed it. And this is the first film directed by Ryan Gosling. This is Lost River, and I found this for 20 bucks again, used, and this is a pretty difficult-ish film to find. It slid off the radar completely. Nobody really talks about it at all. It hit the festival circuit, obviously, but it didn't really go too far from there with its release. But I watched it once. I remember it being very weird, and I remember not following it very much at all. But I also know that I'm a big Nicholas Winding Refn fan, and I remember this film really reminded me of Nicholas Winding Refn's style in filmmaking, and then I remembered, that makes total sense. Ryan Gosling was in 2 of his films, and I'm sure was inspired very much by the guy, so I want to check out Ryan Gosling's vision on this film once again, because I'm sure it's going to be one hell of an experience, and I can say that I'm very likely to review that film, whether it's good or not. And finally, we're at the last bunch. So we got a really bad Night of the Living Dead non-official film. I'm not going to say really bad because I haven't even seen the thing, but a, how do you call these films? Unnecessary Night of the Living Dead film, which is unrelated to the 6. This is Night of the Living Dead Resurrection, which is basically a remake that is British. This is a British remake of the Night of the Living Dead story and kind of a retake on it. There's a few of them. I actually, because I love zombie films so much, and I love bad cinema so much, and I'm kind of a bad movie aficionado at times, because I range from, you know, Citizen Kane to freaking Troll 2. Not kidding at all. I looked up once Night of the Living Dead and Day of the Dead, and to see all their spin-offs that, you know, unofficial reboots, remakes, whatever you want to call those films, that have existed, and there's like 10 for each. It's ridiculous. But I'm kind of tackling them, and I've tackled one. I bought it and I showed it off. I showed it, I think it was last month that I showed it. The one where Mimesis, that's it. Yeah, I showed that one. It's on my shelf. It was okay. It was nothing special, but it was okay. I got 47 Meters Down Uncaged, which I already reviewed, but I bought the Blu-ray to put on the shelf beside the first one, and now I have the 1 and 2, another one. Goosebumps 2 completes the collection. I like this one a lot more than the first, my opinion. they're both well, the first, I'm not going to say they're both great because this one was actually great. The first was good enough. It's just got, there's things about it plot-wise and story-wise, I'll say more, because it's actually a fairly decent directed family spooky film, but the story's kind of just meh compared to the second one, which really took off. And I love Ken Jeong's character in it. He's really funny with just his personality and charisma that he brings, and is like, his personality is very good for the whole story and everything that's going on. And lastly, I got a Canadian film, Wolf Cop. I don't know where this was produced or made or filmed, to be honest. Maybe a little bit more research into that, but I have watched it. I do love this film. There's another Wolf Cop, which I am looking for, and it's really good. It's independent, kind of low budget, Canadian exploitation kind of, French Canadian especially exploitation kind of, comedy, like horror comedy kind of thing. And you get basically a cop that transforms into a werewolf, and kind of have to rewatch it again to get a full like reminder of it, but I always remember liking it. I haven't seen it in quite a few years, but I do remember it being excuse me, a cheesy good time. But yeah, that's the whole bag. Well, that's my lot, so subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like the sound of my voice, or if you like my film reviews. There's lots on the channel. And I'll be back next month to show you what I bought in September, and then I will have 31 Days of October coming, which I'm going to be reviewing a film a day, just like last year, same old good times. So, and there's obviously a lot of reviews coming as well before that. I don't know about in October, other than 31 days, but we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll throw in an extra review here and there or two, we'll see. But anyways, take care until next time. Take care. Cheers.